Well, we're back in the studio again, and now we're going to be talking with Roy O'Connor, the board of directors, and he hasn't hooked up yet. So I was just talking with Roy. I was concerned about fiscal years, and the Green Spring fiscal year starts in January, but the board fiscal year starts on the 1st of April. So you're all hooked up, ready to go?
I think so. I hope they can hear me okay.
I don't think so, because you've got it hidden a little bit.
Okay.
Try it this way.
There we go. That'll be better.
Is that better?
That's better. Okay.
Okay,
So
good.
what are we going to talk about?
Good to see you, Greg. Here we
Good to
go,
see you, Roy.
2019. Well, I'm very happy.
Well, our previous show, you were aware of that one too, I presume. Walking Tall.
Yeah, Walking Tall.
Yeah, that's right.
Brought back a lot of good memories, right? Oh my gosh.
Well, I don't know if they were good or not.
Right.
I remember that as being braced by the upperclassmen too frequently.
Right, and I'm not sure whether it was doing us good or harm.
Well, it really did us well, because we
Yeah.
could stand there with holding that pencil without a problem.
Right.
At least
Exactly.
I could you?
Yeah, absolutely. After a while, no problem. Absolutely.
All right, well, let's get on with the board.
But we never want to lose that, exactly.
But I have. I can't get my head back against the wall anymore. No.
Well, I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to just come on and, mention to the residents that we don't have, of course, all the reports or anything for the year yet, but as we look now, 2018 certainly was a very, very successful year for Green Spring.
Well, we actually had a new board starting, right?
Yes, well, the board runs on the year of April 1st to March 30th.
An actual new with the
Right.
national senior.
Yeah. So we're now doing what we call enterprise-wide governance.
Yeah.
So we have the National Senior Campuses, NSC. It's an overall.
They were independently started many years ago.
Yeah, it's been our supporting board and sponsoring board all these years.
Yeah.
But now the focus has been, now that we have all these communities up and running successfully, to move into more of an enterprise-wide governance role. Look for consistency, look for policies across all the communities.
And we have 17 communities now.
Actually, well, it depends how you count them. We have 16 that are under NSC.
Okay, that's what
In
I mean.
addition to that, you have Charlestown, and you also have 2 communities in Florida, Devonshire, and also the nursing home, to count for 3.
Okay.
So it's 19 altogether. And that's interesting, because I just heard that Erickson has announced a new community. Sales office opened in Naples, Florida.
Oh,
It's going to be called Sienna Lakes, okay? And
Sienna Lake?
Sienna Lakes. It's on the north part of Naples, Florida, and it will be a full community like ours with integrated living, continuing care, all the services. So that'll be the second Erickson community in Florida, okay? Because now we have Devonshire over on the East Coast.
Okay.
So that was just an aside that's coming up. And that's been their approach now, where they open a sales office first and actually have a building up on the property where they can bring people in and have the sales lunches and introductions.
Be about 3 communities like we have? Or?
I don't know the full size of it, but I know they have 29 acres, so it's not as large a
not
property.
big, yeah.
No, so I don't think
We're about 70 acres, aren't we? 74?
well, it depends on the count. You talk about, yes, it's, I've heard as low as 58, I've heard up to 82, but I think the final parcel is 58. We gave a lot of that front acreage away to the county, where they're building houses out there, where the soccer field
That used to be Erickson.
Used to be all Erickson, right. It was well up over 80, yes.
So that was sort of to urge the county to approve our high-density living area.
I think it's something about some quid pro quo, yeah. Anyway, so the new board is really functioning very well, I think. It'll be a full year come the end of March. And under that board, one of the key things is we have the Community Relation Committee for each community. So I know residents can look on the bulletin board and you'll see the photos of Jackson Bain, Eileen Airstead, and myself. So we're the three people that represent the board, to the community, and are really the first line of communication.
Well, as a member of the resident council last year, I appreciated that because I felt like we were much closer to the board. We were being heard more by the board, and that we had a better understanding.
Well, thank you, because that really is what we're trying to, cultivate.
Well, you were successful with me.
Oh, that's great.
I can't talk about the others, but
right. Well, we did meet separately with the council on at least 3 occasions, and of course we had the town halls in May and December, and that was one of our main objectives, is to establish it. The council has grown over the years into a very, very polished, I'm not saying sophisticated, but mature organization. With over 100 people on all the committees, and they're doing a great job of representing the residents. So we like to use them, to communicate, because we think they have their hands on things, on the pulse of things.
Well, that's sort of what I was getting at, because last year I thought we were closer to you all, and that perhaps you were listening to us more, because I don't think that we got that kind of listening. I was 4 years on the board, so 3 years of the council, I felt were sort of distant. I really wondered what their purpose was, or did they really represent us?
Yeah.
I think now with the 3-person board meeting with us quarterly and sitting down and talking and listening, I hope that approach will cause the board to be more resident focused rather than management focused.
Yeah, well, certainly that's the resident is first and foremost.
Well, but I didn't get that feeling earlier.
Well, thank you. That's great. I'll pass that on to
tell Jackson that.
I will tell him, and I'd be very happy to hear that, because that's been our objective. So, at the same time, when we were here, each time, 2 of the times we were able also to stay and have dinner with some of the residents, so we could follow on to those meetings, and that's invaluable too. And,
well, I think the resident also needs to recognize that you are our resident member of the board.
Yeah.
And if they have a serious problem that they can't resolve with management or resident council, maybe you're the one to come to, huh?
I'd be glad to talk to them.
Good.
Absolutely. Anytime, one-on-one. I can't say we're going to always have success on that, but absolutely.
But
absolutely.
we've had a lot of problems with Wi-Fi, and we're having a lot of problems with TV, and we know that management is taking care of that. So that's not something that, come to you, you're not going to be able to. But
Right.
I'm not going to suggest any problems.
No. But over time, see, that's a major theme which which the board certainly did discuss with the management.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just one person or one instance. I mean, it's something, today, these are things that are expected to be running very well. And we're going to make some improvements. They've started this week already. This week, Monday, installing the individual access point.
It's been done in my apartment
Okay, great.
yesterday morning.
Okay, good. So you're firsthand experiencing that.
I am, and it wasn't difficult, because it was just a matter of them coming in, drilling a hole in the ceiling, putting and putting the wires out over the door, putting a little instrument up, whatever it is, and they left. And they went on down the hall, and that's the end of it until they turned it on, because they attached it to that little device that's under the shelf.
Yeah, and the
So
little
the wires
box
go into
outside,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And that was the end of it.
Well,
Hopefully that's going to solve the Wi-Fi problem, right?
I hope it does too. And
Yeah.
I think that when they had the presentation here, I think it was November, the Erickson, they had the vice president down,
Yeah.
and he explained that this is what has evolved. We were the first ones to implement,
Right.
and now they've learned a lot more, and there's other new equipment that you can do this.
And we've had Wi-Fi for quite how many years now? 5 or 6,
4 to 5.
4 or 5 years, as well as our telephone.
Yeah.
And we were the first to get both of those.
Yes, we were.
And so.
Yeah.
And I think, from my point of view, they've worked very well. I know some people have had problems with them, It's kind of hard to resolve some of them.
Right. Well, as you know, physically on Wi-Fi, if you have any kind of structure that's between you and the device, it can interrupt the signal. And you know, a lot of Greenspan, I like to say, is built like Fort Knox. I mean, there's pretty thick walls.
Yeah.
And so there are some pockets. So I think that hopefully this new fix will bring it right down closer to it. Yeah. Where did they locate your box?
It's inside about 6 feet from the door. 8
Okay,
feet
in the
from
living
door.
room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right inside the door.
Probably that's the most central point, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, good.
We don't have much time left, Roy, and I've occupied a lot of yours. So what else do you want to cover?
Well, you know, I'll be continuing in my role as the resident board member.
Good.
I also serve on the audit committee, which has already started. We use the outside auditors, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and I'll continue to serve on the NSC investment committee. You know, we had a banner year back in 2017. We were through the roof, but this year, everybody knows fourth quarter kind of went down, but still overall, we're well over our goal, which is 6% return per year.
Good.
But of course, for the year, I think I haven't got the December results yet, but you know.
Now, our reserve, the people have always questioned the reserve, and was any of that used for the Dogwood Commons?
Yes, we actually took $19 million out of reserves last year.
Okay.
Yeah, we spent over 30,
Okay.
on all the different things that are going on, but we were able to take some right from our cash flow. But yeah, we took about 19 million, and you know, I'm glad you asked that because we were able to do that, no assessment to the residents.
Yeah.
That's why we have it there for covering these long-term projects. And of course, we got some big ones coming up this year.
We do.
And there'll be a lot of activity going on.
And Dogwood Commons is a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's looking good. The latest I heard is we'll probably start actually moving residents in around the 1st of February.
Well, not until the 1st of February.
Yeah.
I thought they were
think
going to be doing
we're
it
on the
here.
final steps of getting the license to actually do it, which involves the actual inspections were finally completed by the fire marshal last week.
Good.
And there's some paperwork there, you know, you have to submit to the Department of Social Services at the state level. And I think all that whole package is all in. And so we're just waiting for the final approval.
Good.
And
Well, Roy, thank you very much for your service on the board. You've been on it now about 6 years, 7 years?
This is my 6th year, yeah.
6th year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you started about the same time I did as the troubadour.